point by saying that perhaps the security agencies should be prepared for a more chaotic environment as a result of his coming back to the country. Let me say that the security sector is prepared to deal with any insecurity issues. The last time he was around and there were so many goons in the same of protests, we were very prepared. And every other minute the National Police Service is prepared to protect citizens and their property. We, of course, are aware of those elements of threatening disruptions, threatening football, threatening all these other issues. I need to say that we will take legal action against anybody who is going to break law. I wish Kenya remained peaceful as it was for the last 3 to 4 weeks. And I wish people continue their political activities in a more peaceful environment like we've seen in the last few.
Shall have a mother of all peaceful processions upon his arrival. The procession will begin from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to the Central Business District and later address a public rally at the hallowed Kamkunji grounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the certain predicaments that we have in the political arena right now, as the video that we have begun with, those are two different videos, by the way. It's one video from the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, and the other video is from the DCP Deputy Party Leader Cleo Malala, alleging a plot that is currently being hatched within the government of the Republic of Kenya on diverting the plane, or the JKIA plane, and I mean the Kenya Airways plane, that will be coming into the country with one former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Thursday. Remember, Rigathi Gachagua is expected to touch down at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport on Thursday, on 21st, Thursday 21st of the year 2025, where he is returning and making a grand homecoming from the United States, where he has been in the United States for the last 1 or 2 months. Now, listening to Kipchumba Murkomen speak, I tell you that a lot of things are awaiting the return of Rigathi Gachagua. Now, right now, there is instability when it comes to the current coalition between President William Ruto and Raila Odinga due to what happened yesterday. The ODM and Kenya Kwanza meeting that was held in Karen unexpectedly headed up in chaos, which is something that President William Ruto could never foretell. Also, Raila Odinga could never foretell that. But look at it in this dimension. What does this mean? I mean, the alliance between President William Ruto, once it start getting up in chaos, or it start becoming a matter that, I mean, nobody has faith in it, it means that Rigathi Gachagua is winning. Now, the return of Rigathi Gachagua is expected to be as humongous, as I have always said in my previous videos, as that of the late Kenneth Matiba in the year 1992. Or let us compare it to the return of Mwai Kibaki from UK, the United Kingdom, in London, back in the year 2002, when Kibaki returned after he had an accident. Now, that is the homecoming that is expected to happen on Thursday at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. All the functions affiliated with Rigathi Gachagua, including Martha Karua, Fred Matiang'i, the lead, the Jubilee presidential candidate, Kalonzo Musyoka, advocates from all corners of life, all of them, Eugene Wamalwa, are expected to be awaiting the return of Rigathi Gachagua at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Now, this is the game that is being played. Rigathi Gachagua has dared Kipchumba Murkomen. You have threatened me for so long. So it's about time you prove a point. Come on. I am returning on Thursday, saa 6 mchana, nataka mje mnishike. And Kipchumba Murkomen speaks by telling the media today that Rigathi Gachagua's arrest will be as a form of combating a a threat to national security. Now, what does this mean? There are some certain high-level cases that they are planning to level on one Rigathi Gachagua. The return of Rigathi Gachagua is expected to be turned into a circus of court cases that now will destabilize the opposition. I mean, we all know, without Rigathi Gachagua, there is no opposition. Without Rigathi Gachagua, there is no Kalonzo, there is no Matiang'i, there is no Martha Karua, there is no Eugene Wamalwa. I mean, there is nobody. Literally, there is no opposition because all of them, since Gachagua left the country, they all could not gather a simple glimpse of courage to defend their position as opposition in this country. They all fled to different corners trying to seclude themselves in certain cocoons. Fred Matiang'i himself went ahead to cancel his tour in Meru County, which he resumed, by the way, on Sunday after Rigathi Gachagua made it clear that I will be coming on Thursday next week. That is when Fred Matiang'i returned. So I tell you, if Rigathi Gachagua is destabilized, if they arrest him, if they bring up charges, trumped up charges against him, that means the opposition loses its value. And that is the game, by the way, for President William Ruto. He wants the opposition to become so useless. He has tested the crowd. Once Gachagua left, there has been peace and tranquility all over the nation. There has been nobody to destabilize the government on matters attacking them and exposing them on daily basis, as Gachagua has always been doing. So now William Ruto knows Kalonzo Musyoka aniwezi, Karua aniwezi, Matiang'i aniwezi. Mtu ambaye ni tishio pekee ni nani? Ni Gachagua. So what's the best way to deal with Gachagua? To ensure that he has cases to deal with. Yani, we must make him to be dealing with something so that the opposition now becomes vulnerable, because he is the strongest pillar of the opposition. Once he is vulnerable, the opposition is penetrable. If the opposition is penetrable, there is a chance that Kalonzo Musyoka will cede to the pressures and join the government. There is a chance that Fred Matiang'i will cease to the pressures and decide to collude with President William Ruto. Are we together? That is the whole game. And I dare tell you, for you to realize the damage that Rigathi Gachagua has costed President William Ruto, is that President William Ruto has set up a date for his United States tour, which is going to happen next month. He is going there to do a disaster management of the chaos that Rigathi Gachagua has left in the United States. Tunaelewana? He is going there to make sure that he streamlines everything, to make sure that he clears his name and his involvement on matters, things like Al-Shabaab, RSF, militia, because Gachagua has stood ground and declared President William Ruto persona non grata to the United States. Are we together? So when these threats are made, people like Kipchumba Murkomen telling us that Gachagua is a threat to national security. The supporters and the people that believe that the opposition has a chance have to think, behold, a threat to national security. This is a political con game, and that is how they are played. Also, you have to think on matters, what next if Gachagua is taken into custody? What will happen? What will happen if they arrest Gachagua? That is a question that I'm telling you, you should ask yourself. Mtazamaji, we are in some certain uncertain times of the politics of the Republic of Kenya. President William Ruto, if he is to be compared with anybody, he is to be compared with the late President MOI, that is President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Moi knew that the greatest threat to him to becoming a president of Kenya in the year 1992 was none other than Kenneth Matiba. So Moi made sure that he arrests Matiba, jails Matiba, injects Matiba with substances that will lead to paralysis. The things that led to the death of Matiba, tried to bankrupt Matiba. You know, Matiba was so rich before he began his fight with Moi. But after his fight with Moi, until now, the legacy of the late Kenneth Matiba was buried with him. A man that meant so well for this nation. It's what William Ruto is playing at. He knows his greatest threat to the presidency in the year 2027 is Rigathi Gachagua. So what's best way to deal with Rigathi Gachagua? Take Rigathi Gachagua into custody. Mtazamaji, that's how the dirty game of politics is played. I remind you that this is the Kenyan Daily Report. We are here to keep you updated with the latest trends in town. I want to know, what is your take? By the way, remember, Cleo Malala has told us that Kipchumba Murkomen and the whole government at large are planning to sabotage the arrival of Rigathi Gachagua, to subvert the plane that Rigathi Gachagua is supposed to be touching down with at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. It's supposed to be directed to either Kisumu or Nakuru, where they can actually have an easy access to arresting Rigathi Gachagua. Are we together? So when you look at it in that dimension, you will understand that they also have intel. I have told you once and again that Rigathi Gachagua is one of the most skilled man when it comes to collecting intel. He has operatives inside the William Ruto's inner circles, and these operatives feed him with intel of what the state is planning against him. So wakisema kuna mpango ya kugeuza ndege ya Rigathi Gachagua isitue katika uwanja wa Jomo Kenyatta, ielekezwe katika uwanja wa Kisumu, ielekezwe katika uwanja wa Nakuru ama kule Eldoret ndipo aweze kukamatiwa kule, you have to take that into account. Once somebody like ambaye ni waziri wa usalama ndani Kipchumba Murkomen confirming and saying on public, speaking on a press conference, telling the people, after being asked a question, he declares that Gachagua is a threat to national security. Ow. Mtazamaji, ni hao kwa sasa, tuungane katika video zetu zijazo. Usisahau, ni The Kenyan Daily Report. Mimi niite FK Mwenda.